Today's story is about a rich father's spoiled child who ends up falling in love with his own stepsister, and both of them secretly do things behind their family's back. You're going to see some shocking incidents in today's complete story. The story begins with a girl named Nova, who is going to live at her mom's boyfriend William's house along with her mother. Actually, Nova's parents are divorced, and now her mom's boyfriend is very rich. In a few days, they are going to get married. But Nova is not happy with this marriage, and she doesn't want to become the daughter of a rich father. So her mother, Rafaela, explains to her that we can't keep trying to improve our lives alone again and again. We need to move forward in life, and for that, we also need good support. She knows that Nova is leaving her boyfriend Dan, and that's difficult for her. Nova is still 17, and after going there, she'll make many new friends. When they arrive at the house, William comes to welcome them, but Nova doesn't talk properly to her mom's boyfriend. After that, her mom shows her the house, which is very beautiful and luxurious, but Nova is unable to accept all this. Then her mother shows her the room, which is also very beautiful. She tells Nova that William decorated the room exactly according to Nova's favorite things and favorite colors. Nova ends up liking the room. After that, her mom tells her about Nick, William's son, who is Nova's stepbrother. When Nova comes to the balcony, she sees a boy behind the trees, but she can't see his face clearly. Just then, her best friend Betty calls her, and while talking to her, Nova goes to the kitchen. Suddenly, she sees Nick and gets scared, dropping her phone. When she bends down to pick it up, Nick's dog comes there. Frightened, she hides behind Nick and picks up a pan, threatening him that if he doesn't quiet the dog, she'll hit him on the head with it. Nick replies that she shouldn't even think of doing that, or else his dog will attack her. At that moment, their parents arrive, and Nova says sarcastically that Nick is very nice, but she likes his dog even more. Then she goes to her room. She realizes that her friend Betty was still on the call and had heard everything. Betty asks her what her stepbrother is like and says that her mom told her he's very sweet. Nova replies that she didn't really look at him properly. Later at night, everyone gets ready to go out for dinner. Nova comes out wearing a very beautiful dress, and everyone praises her outfit. Then they leave for dinner. On the way, Nova misses her boyfriend. Meanwhile, Nick overtakes them with his car and drives ahead. At the restaurant, while talking, Nova starts insulting Nick, but he takes it lightly. Then he tells his parents that he has some important work and is leaving. While going, he says to Nova, "How long will you keep running from me, sister?" Nick's dad then tells him to drop Nova home and drive carefully. On the way back, Nick starts driving fast, and the two begin arguing inside the car. During the argument, Nova says something wrong about Nick's mother. Hearing this, Nick stops the car in anger, throws Nova out on the roadside, and drives away. After some time, Nova stops a car driven by a boy named Mario, who gives her a lift. While talking, Mario says he's going to a party at a villa. During the conversation, Nova finds out that Mario is Nick's friend, and Mario also learns that Nova is Nick's sister. Mario then tells her that Nick has also gone to the same party. Hearing this, Nova asks Mario to take her there too. At the party, Nova sees Nick being kissed by different girls one after another. Seeing this, she thinks that he lied to his dad about important work just to come here. She goes up to him and punches him hard, shouting that he left her alone on an empty road and came here to enjoy himself. She says that anything could have happened to her. She also says that his dad thinks he's Mr. Perfect and asks how he would feel if he found out about all this. Nick threatens her, telling her not to tell anyone about this and that it's none of her business. Nova asks why he was flirting with girls. Nick replies that girls are automatically drawn toward him. During this, he comes very close to Nova, but she pushes him away. Nick then goes back to partying. Meanwhile, a girl approaches Nova and tells her that she's Nick's childhood friend. They start talking and become friends. At a short distance, Nova sees Nick kissing someone in a teasing, show-off manner, clearly trying to provoke her. Then a boy named Ronnie, who is a gangster, comes and starts talking to Nova. He offers her a drink. After just one sip, Nova starts feeling strange. Nick arrives just in time and pushes the boy to the ground. Nova, trying to tease Nick, drinks again, but Nick throws the drink away and warns her that such guys mix drugs into drinks to trap girls. Soon, Nova starts feeling dizzy, and Nick takes her home. Since she's heavily intoxicated, she starts making naughty comments about Nick. He tells her to stay quiet, but she doesn't listen. They reach home, and Nick carries Nova to her room and puts her to bed. For a moment, inappropriate thoughts cross his mind, but he controls himself. After falling asleep, Nova has a dream where she sees herself as a little girl. Her mom wakes her up and hides her somewhere because Nova's real dad is shouting outside, torturing them and demanding that the door be opened. In the next scene, Nick is having breakfast. Nova comes to him and asks what happened between them last night. To tease her, Nick says that a lot happened between them. Hearing this, Nova gets upset. To relax, Nova goes to the beach, where she meets a girl named Jana. After some time, Nick arrives at the beach with his friends to go surfing. While he is changing his clothes, Nova watches him, and for a brief moment, even she starts having inappropriate thoughts. Soon after, she finds out that Nick is going to participate in a race later that night. Later that night, we see Nick at the racing spot, where many people have gathered along with his friends. Today, Nick is going to race against Ronnie's group. Both sides get ready for the car race, and the race begins. An intense and thrilling car race takes place, and in the end, just like every year, Nick wins the race once again. Everyone starts celebrating Nick's victory. During the celebration, Nova receives a message on her phone. She sees that her boyfriend Dan is kissing her friend. This makes her extremely angry. Out of anger and to provoke Dan, she takes a guy from the party and starts clicking photos while kissing him. At that moment, Nick arrives, chases the guy away, and takes Nova's phone. After looking at it, he understands why Nova is doing all this. Nova tells him that she needs the photo so she can send it to her boyfriend to make him jealous. Now Nick gets a chance to get closer to her. He says that if he kisses her and helps her take a photo, will she leave and go home afterward? Nova agrees. Nick then kisses her in a very impressive way, and Nova takes the photo. After that, Nick makes Nova sit in the car and says that he will ask one of his friends to drop her home. Saying this, Nick goes back and gets busy with another girl. Meanwhile, Nova sits in the car and sends the photo to her boyfriend to provoke him. Then she moves to the driver's seat and casually starts the car. At that moment, Ronnie drives his car onto the racing line and says that Nick is supposed to race against him, but asks Nova what she is doing there with a car. Nova replies that she can race too, and the race immediately begins. A fierce competition starts between Nova and Ronnie, turning into an intense head-to-head race. Meanwhile, Nick rushes over and sees that Nova has taken his place in the race. He becomes very worried. However, Nova eventually wins the race, and everyone is happy about it. Ronnie, having lost, starts arguing with Nick. He accuses him of breaking the game's rules by sending a girl to compete, saying that's why they won, and Nick lost. He demands the money and even Nick's car. Nova argues with Ronnie over this, but Nick tries to take her away from there. Suddenly, Ronnie insults Nova, and hearing this, Nick loses his temper and starts hitting Ronnie. This leads to a fight between both groups. Seeing all this, Nova gets scared and crouches down. Nick's friend takes her and makes her sit in Nick's car, and after a while, Nick also gets in. They quickly leave the place. 4 days later, in the morning, Nova is sleeping when her mom wakes her up and tells her that her dad, William, has organized a success party, and she has to attend. Nick has been missing for 4 days, but he knows about the party and is expected to show up at the right time. We then see Nick and learn that he has a younger sister. His dad's first wife, Nick's mother, does not live with them anymore, as his parents are divorced. Nick has come to meet his younger sister, Maggie, who is suffering from cancer. He spends a lot of time with her, talking and being with her. On the other hand, after the party, Nova and her parents return home, but Nick does not make it to the party. Later, Nova is sitting alone at home watching TV when Nick arrives and sits beside her. While talking, they start kissing. Gradually, things begin to get intense, but Nick stops and says, "This is wrong, and they shouldn't do this." Just then, Nova's mom comes in and asks Nick to speak to Nova's dad about not attending the success party, and he leaves. The next day, Nova is washing her car when she notices Nick watching her. To catch his attention, she playfully splashes water on herself, and Nick laughs seeing this. Later, Nova's mom takes her to meet her boyfriend, Dan. However, ever since Nova saw the kissing photos, she has started hating him and doesn't talk to him properly. When her boyfriend tries to kiss her, she turns her face away. After that, Nova's mom takes her back home. Meanwhile, Nick is swimming in the pool. Nova goes near the pool to talk to him, but Nick suddenly pulls her into the water. Day by day, something like a relationship begins to grow between them. Whenever they come close to each other, they start losing control. After a while, they move to one side of the pool and begin kissing. Dan watches them from a distance, shocked, but Nick's friends stop him there with an excuse. Just then, Nova's mom calls Nick, so he leaves. After that, Dan goes to Nova and asks, "Isn't this the same guy whose photo you sent me?" Nova doesn't reply to him at all. Later, Nick is on his way somewhere when he runs into Ronnie again. Just like before, Ronnie starts making bad comments about Nova in front of Nick. This makes Nick furious. The scene then shifts, and we see Nick at home with bruises on his face, which shows that there was a serious fight between him and Ronnie. Now Nick is standing near the pool and sees Nova sleeping outside. He walks up to her and notices a mark on her stomach. Seeing this, he gently tries to cover her up. Suddenly, Nova wakes up and punches him hard, causing his nose to bleed. After realizing what happened, Nova apologizes and says, "I suddenly thought Dan had come to bother me, so I reacted in a hurry." Once again, they start getting close to each other. But at that moment, Dan arrives and sees them together. Nova quickly tells him, "Please don't tell anyone about this, and tomorrow, please leave from here." The next morning, Nova's mom gives her a letter from Dan and tells her that he has gone back. Later, we see Nova and Nick going to a fight club with their friends, where Nick is going to fight again. After their friends go inside, Nick and Nova start talking and end up kissing again. It becomes very hard for them to control themselves. When they come close, they seem ready to take a step further, almost as if they are addicted to each other. Just then, two of their friends arrive in another car and see Nick and Nova together. One of Nick's friends tries to make him understand, saying, "She's your stepsister. You shouldn't be doing this." After that, everyone goes inside the club, and it's Nick's turn to fight. Nova asks him not to fight because she doesn't like violence, but Nick refuses and goes ahead with it. During the fight, Nick starts winning. However, Nova can't bear to watch and walks outside. At the same time, one of Nick's friends comes out with her and while talking tries to kiss Nova. Inside, Nick wins the fight and receives the prize money. When he comes outside and sees what's happening, he gets very angry. He pushes his friend away, scolds him, and tells him to leave. Then he tells Nova, "Don't let anyone come close to you again." But Nova gets angry at Nick because of the fight and says that nothing can happen between them anymore. She tells him not to talk to her from now on. After that, both of them stay away from each other for many days, even though they miss each other a lot. One day, Nick's dad tells him that Nova's father, Jonas, has been released from prison. He explains that Jonas used to torture Nova and her mom, Rafaela, and that Nova still has marks on her body from the abuse. Nick says, "But I heard Nova's dad was dead." His dad replies that Jonas had actually been in prison for years, and it was because of Nova's statement that the police arrested him. However, he was released 2 weeks ago, and he could try to harm Nova and her mom at any time, so he tells Nick to always take care of Nova. Meanwhile, Nova is at a party where she drinks too much. On the other side, Nick is looking for her and calling everyone to ask about her whereabouts. At the party, one of Nova's friends jokingly locks her inside a closet. Nova becomes terrified because when she was little, her unstable father used to lock her in a closet the same way. Just then, Nick arrives, takes her out of the closet, and brings her home. Nova is extremely shaken by the incident and asks Nick to stay with her. Although it is very difficult for him, Nick somehow manages to stay in her room that night. The next morning, Nick is about to go back to his room when his dad walks in and sees them together. Both of them panic. However, Nick's dad had actually come to tell him that his sister Maggie is in the hospital, but seeing them together makes him angry, and he leaves. After that, Nick takes Nova to visit his sister Maggie in the hospital, and they talk with her. On their way back, Nick says they will reach home soon. He pulls the car over and turns off the engine. Both of them are tense because his dad saw them together. Nova says that now his dad will never allow them to be together, and maybe this was their last night. Hearing this, Nick kisses her. Eventually, they lose control of themselves completely. Later, they go to the beach and spend the night together, wanting to make the moment beautiful and unforgettable. The next morning, Nick suggests that they run away together, but Nova refuses, saying that after many years, her mother finally has a good life and she cannot hurt her. They start heading back home. On the way, Nick stops the car at a shop to buy something. During that time, Ronnie arrives, knocks Nova unconscious, and kidnaps her. When Nick comes back and sees that Nova is gone, he realizes her life is in danger. He informs his parents, and they contact the police. After checking CCTV footage, Nick identifies Ronnie as the kidnapper. It turns out that Nova was kidnapped on the orders of her own father, Jonas, through Ronnie. Jonas calls Nova's mom and demands 10 lakh rupees in cash by 4 p.m. the next day in exchange for Nova's release. Nick's dad agrees to arrange the money. Nova's mom goes to the location with William to deliver the cash, while the police accompany them in disguise. However, Jonas had already hidden a camera there and was secretly watching and listening to them. Meanwhile, Nick is in a car with a female police officer. She asks him if he really lost the car race to Ronnie. Nick explains that he didn't lose. Ronnie cheated. He also says that whenever he sees Ronnie driving his car, he gets angry because he is still paying the insurance for it. Suddenly, Nick remembers that a tracker is installed in the car until the insurance period ends. The police quickly track the vehicle and locate Nova. When Jonas realizes he has been tracked, he tries to escape with Nova. Nick sees that Nova is driving the car because Jonas is forcing her at gunpoint. Nick begins chasing them. After a long chase, Nova suddenly stops the car. Jonas points a gun at her head and orders her to keep driving. Now, Nick and Nova are face to face. As their cars come closer, Nova pulls the handbrake and ducks down. At that moment, the female police officer sitting with Nick shoots Jonas, and he dies. Afterward, Nova's mom rushes to her and hugs her tightly, overjoyed to have her daughter back. At the end of the story, Nick secretly goes into Nova's room and hugs her. They are very happy together. Now, whenever they are close to each other, they don't even try to hold themselves back and are simply happy to be together. Meanwhile, we see Nova and Nick's parents talking to each other, saying that they must somehow end Nova and Nick's relationship, and with that, the story comes to an end.